Alright, this is the flask number 10 by Martin Guggenheim and an artist with the surname Diaz. Maybe it's Cameron Diaz. This is a run where Bart Simpson's, he was the main flask. Unfortunately, we got this cover here by Nathan Van Scribbler, and it's just full of horrible Nazi imagery. He tried to hide it away like he does, but I found out if you turn this cover 90 degrees sideways like this, and then you hold this up to it, look closely, he has snuck a swastika under the cover. That is terrible. And that's just par for the course for the hate grifter known as Nathan Van Scribbler. Lucky for us, the white national man is only doing this cover, and the interiors are by Cameron Diaz, so there's no more subliminal bigotry snuck into this comic book. I said last time that I reviewed one of these issues, I think it was the issue before this, the one where the Flask fought Stepford Wolf. I like the general idea of making Bart Simpson's into the main Flask for a bit, but I didn't like that they aged the character up to do that. With that consideration though, I'll also say that this short second run by Martin Guggenheim, it is good in spite of that aspect. We got a nice scene here with Bart Simpson stuck in traffic and he is impatient. We start setting up him training to be a policeman. He wants to be a detective. And it goes to waste. A lot of the ideas in this run go to waste because Bart Simpson's was quickly replaced as the main Flask. And he was just kind of like pushed off to comic book limbo after this run. The baddie for this issue though is Yellow Flask. Here he is, and he has used his super speed powers to go back in time and see when Rome was attacked, because he can do all the timey-wimey travelling stuff with his super speed powers. And then someone else shows up, someone in a cloak, to have a chat with him, and they ask if Yellow Flask will attack the Flask. I wonder who this character is. It is a mystery. And Bart Simpson's, he is trying to solve a cold case. And it's literally a cold case because the person was frozen to death. And Bart Simpson's, he goes around and starts fights with a bunch of ice-powered characters to try and work out who the culprit is. And, well, it's Frigimon, obviously. He's a Flask baddie. So, of course, he was going to be the murderer. So the Flask and Frigimon, they have a fight. It's always good to have legacy heroes like Bart Simpson's square off against the classic enemies like Frigimon here. It really helps sell the new characters as a legitimate replacement, and it can present new opportunities for the relationship dynamics between hero and villain. And then after the Flask has beat Frigimon, Yellow Flask shows up and we've got another fight. And maybe this one, it does a bit of a disservice to Yellow Flask by having him and a fight with him condensed into a few pages. We've got a quick little subplot bit here with my favourite version of the Flask, the one with a funny hat. He is fighting another Flask baddie, Heathwave, and he beats him and he gets arrested. But then in the police truck, Green Flask shows up and he recruits Heathwave for an attack on Bart Simpson's. Oh, that doesn't sound very nice, does it? So Bart Simpson's, he defeats Yellow Flask, and then we find out that the person in the cloak that sent Yellow Flask to hurt Bart Simpson's, it was actually Bart Simpson's grandma, Crystal West, girlfriend of the original Flask, Barney Allen. To be continued. What a shocking twist. I like this run. I think it does a good job of pushing Bart Simpson's as a new Flask, and it's just a shame that it somewhat ironically, rushes through the storyline, and it never became anything more than a temporary change. Nearly all the character growth and evolution from this run, it just went nowhere. I rate it 7 thumbs up though.